Hello and welcome along to a new shorter midweek version of the This Week's Acca podcast. I'm Tom, joined by Joe to have a run through the action taking place across the next couple of days. A bit of feedback we've had from you is that you'd like to hear other selections that necessarily aren't just results-based to make up those results-based Accas, and we've been wanting to try something a bit different. So this is a trial run for us on a midweek episode where there isn't that full set of fixtures. We're talking all markets, making some picks for you to consider across Tuesday and Wednesday. And we'd really like to know your thoughts in the comments or through Sport and Live's football social media channels. And hopefully, as you can tell, I promise that we do read every single one of them, have a chuckle about a few as well. And as we always say, remember to keep it fun, never bet more than you can afford. This podcast is 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly. So Joe, it's quickfire we've decided on here.
Yeah, you don't.
In and out, bam, bam, bam.
You don't
bam.
like all the banter in the podcast, do you?
No,
about like chickens and people not having running water in the house and stuff. And I can see you stressing about how much time I'm taking off here by not talking about actual betting tips.
Yeah, it's good insight, isn't it?
Isn't it?
A little note that we will talk about the actual Acca, last week's performance, all the usual stuff in Thursday's episode, right? But this one we're going to go through, I think Tuesday. Should we settle on?
Yeah, go.
Right, Tuesday's action then. And I think given the games, the best way to do it is we'll just go game by game. If we have a bet, we'll say it. If we don't, no, we'll move on. Happy?
Go for it, mate.
Let's start with the FA Cup then, and I'm going to go in time order. Talk to me about Wolves v Brentford. Anything here that's caught your eye?
I have actually got something in this, so when we were chatting about it, the only issue is that at time of record, so we're Monday morning, then all markets
11:17 to be exact.
Filled out, but I like the look of Pedro Neto in this game. Not exactly sure how I would get him on side, so what I've stumbled upon at the moment is 33 to 10 for him to score any time. I'd probably be looking more towards like shots and assists. So he assisted off the bench for Tommy Doyle in the original fixture for this game. He's had real injury issues over the past 18 months or so. Hwang's away at the Asia Cup. Really like him as a player. I think he's going to potentially start this because he played 10 minutes in the game before, having come back from injury, played half an hour in that game. So I'd be looking to get him on side in this match.
My simple one is to take Wolves at even money to win the game, purely because, and this is such a simplistic way of doing it, the reward in the fourth round and the next round is a game against West Brom away at the Hawthorns. If Gary O'Neill does not go full strength in this game and they then lose the game, out the door straight away. I'd be going for Wolves in this one. Birmingham Hull, anything?
No.
I have one actually in this one. You can get 5+ Birmingham corners or over 4.5 Birmingham corners at around 4 to 5. Again, these are picks that necessarily you might want to include to make up an Acca and stuff like that. The fact that Tony Mowbray is now in charge, more of an attacking approach, and we saw at Sunderland how much they like to use that width. So I think the price is probably on seasonal averages, things like that. It's probably a nice game state that will see him on the front foot a bit as well. So Birmingham, 5 or more corners in this game, get 4 to 5.
5 or more sandwiches for Tony Mowbray. If anybody's seen the
loves
buffet
a buffet,
content.
doesn't loves a buffet and loves revels as well, doesn't he?
Actually, for the press, he's talking about the sandwiches anyway.
He's definitely having a bit before they come in, don't they?
I'll take us on to the next one.
Then.
Bolton against Luton. I'm actually going Luton to win here. 7.
Really said the wrong team.
Yeah.
That's not a good start.
So Luton are 7 to 5. Bolton are 9 to 5. Luton have been performing really well consistently in the Premier League this season. That price is way too close together for a Premier League team against a League One team. Luton aren't playing in the Premier League the next weekend either, because they played this and we're in the middle of that winter break, so this will definitely be a priority fixture for them. I'd also like to get Carlton Morris on side to potentially score first, takes penalties, has been the main goal scorer for Luton this season, 6 to 1 to score first. I think it'll be a tight game, 0-0 the first match. Luton had the majority of the play, and I would expect it to be settled by a goal. So looking to get their primary goal threat on side, but I just think Luton are way overpriced. You'd expect to see a Premier League team odds on against a League One team.
I have nothing in this game at all, but I would say there, if you had the Luton and Wolves win double on Tuesday, you're getting around the 7-2 marker on that one, which seems pretty nice. Bristol City West Ham, I'd maybe a little bit of interest in Bristol City's price to win. Maybe getting above 3 to 1 on them. I just think they're
it'll be a really fun game to watch on the
telly. Oh God, yeah, it's a good kind of selection, that one. And finally, in the FA Cup, before we move on, Eastleigh and Newport, 6 to 4 both ways. They can't pick them. I know we went Newport in the reverse fixture, or the original fixture to say. It's a bit different though, isn't it, being the other way around now?
Not sure. Back the draw.
Nice saying.
Maybe 3 to 1.
I could easily see it given Eastleigh's home form, actually, to be fair. So the FA Cup ones then, that we said there, Wolves to win, Pedro Neto, someone to consider. The Birmingham Corners, Luton are a team to fancy there. They're probably the picks in that one. We'll club these together because it's different leagues, but it's EFL, League One and League Two. Barnsley Carlisle, I was hoping for some insight from you on this one. Anything here?
Yeah, I got a goal scorer shout in this one. So Adam Phillips for Barnsley.
Not the one I have.
He's 9-2 to score any time. So he scored 2 in his last 6. But he's just been really heavily involved. So he had an assist on Saturday where he potentially could have scored himself. He's really unselfish, just laid it on for an easy finish for Barnsley's winning goal. But the 2 goals he scored in 6 matches, he hadn't scored all season before that. And last season it was really similar. So he took 10 or 11 matches to score, and then he scored 9 in 20 games. He's a very streaky player in that way, and he's just been starting to get into form probably the last 10 games or so. So I think he's really overpriced for what a goal threat he is from midfield. I think it's probably now to get on board with him because he'll get cut in towards about 3-1, I would expect, in the next 4 weeks or so. And Carlisle, poor League One side, they're going to do very well to scrape out of the relegation zone. You'd expect there to be a few goals for Barnsley in this one. Second top scorers in the division.
On that topic of overpriced, Devante Cole's 11-8. Is that a bit big? That was the one I had down, and I did want to get your opinion on this one, basically, because he got, 15 goals in 25 this season. That seems a bit big.
Yeah.
A couple of goal scorers there to consider then. Mansfield Forest Green. Wow. Forest Green, interesting approach from Troy Deeney, let's say, in terms of how he's dealing with this one. The 2 for me, a goal scorer, Davis Keeler-Dunn. Obviously, 6-5, 14 goals in 26 for him. Or Mansfield to score 3+ goals. You can get around the 6-4, 13-8 marker. You can see the way I'm going here. If you've not seen Troy Deeney kind of approach to Forest Green and management, seek it out in terms of hammering the players, very fed up, refreshing honesty, but slightly maybe demotivating. How much is that for a player? Yeah, to see that. So, understandably, I'm going for the angle of a Mansfield win. Comfortable there. Either Keeler-Dunn at 6-5 or Mansfield to score 3+ at that bigger 6-4. Anything here?
I ain't got anything for it.
That's going to be my catchphrase, I feel, on this episode. I keep saying anything here.
The only temptation I tend to have for a match like this is that Mansfield are so short, and they're getting shorter. So you can see on some odds comparison sites the way that a price is trending, and they're into 4-11 now, but they're getting shorter and shorter. And I would just tend to think, is it worth like sticking a couple of quid on the outsider or the outsider in the draw for a bit of fun? Because it's so short. Mansfield have actually not been brilliant recently, but did draw a lot of games early season at home. And maybe Troy Deeney with these wild tactics gets like a short-term reaction. It cast my mind back to when Paul Ince took over at Macclesfield, and it actually did work in the first season that he had. I think when he tried to carry it over to treating better players when he took over as Blackburn manager in the top flight, they weren't having like drop and give me 30 press-ups for not meeting your teammate with a pass. But yeah, it would look quite fun because they're getting up towards like 8-9-1 Forest Green. So I'd be interested to see how this goes.
Take 4-5 on Forest Green to score. Yeah, that's what you think. If that's a slightly bigger one there, we'll quickly round up then. Anything for the National League, by the way? I'll kind of pull all these together. There are 6 National League games. Is there anything there? The one I will just check out here. Oldham are 19-20 to beat Boreham Wood. Not been good enough at home, I will admit that, Oldham, and it's probably their away form that's carried them there. But before they beat Kidderminster, was it Boreham Wood? 5 consecutive away defeats. It's a team in the hunt for the playoffs against one who are struggling, who we usually see up there, who's dropped off. And I think it's Ebbsfleet are the only team sitting 10th or below to have won at Oldham this season. So it's the top teams that I've got there. Let's round off.
Are we allowed to squeeze in Wednesday ones?
Go on then. Yeah, I've said Tuesday or Wednesday. Allowed. Give me quick fire in 30 seconds or less so we can get out of here.
Okay. So I've got Blackpool to win, 29-10. They've been so good at home this season, and we just missed out on getting them in the Acca at the weekend. So I would love to, like, any team that you can back to try cause an upset. They're at home to Forest. Bristol Rovers, similarly 9-5 at home to Norwich.
That's a decent
in the FA Cup. Quite like Chris Martin to score in that 13-2 against the team that came through their academy to score first, not score any time. Right. And then Palace 29-10 to win at Everton. So much going on off the pitch at Everton at the moment. The last time there was the big news like that, they came out so fired up against Man United. They were 1-0 down after like 30 seconds. So they'd be my 3 for Wednesday.
Before we sign off, then, as we say, we're not building an Acca. We're kind of giving bets that can make up various multiples and stuff like that. Give me your one favourite bet out of all the ones you've said there. If you were just going to back the one, which one are you going for?
Luton to win at Bolton.
Decent price that. For me, I'm going to take the Birmingham Corners bet at 4-5 as part of, other selections and stuff like that. There, some of our fancies for the midweek action. We will be back with the usual episode on Thursday.